last couple of weeks. Here they are on screen. I'm going to ask each one of them to present themselves in 3 minutes and quickly share with all the other people here their core business, their link to upcycling, what they hope to get out of the community, and equally important, what they want to bring into the community. Let's start off with Rebread. Patricia, please take the floor to introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm the first.
Yep.
Hi, everyone. My name is Patricia, and I'm a sustainable manager at Rebread. Some of you might already know us, and hopefully you've had a chance to taste our Happy Belly Soda's crust. Crust are soft drinks made from surplus bread, collected at the end of the day from local bakeries. The one I'm holding here, the strawberry flavor, contains 1 billion live probiotic bacteria with clinically proven benefits for your immune and digestive systems. It's basically like Actimel, but in the form of a refreshing soda. Right now, we're looking for partners who'd like to launch a similar drink under their own brand in European markets. We've already introduced 2 flavors in Poland, and we are ready to act as a white label producer or co-develop new sodas together. Our ideal partner is a beverage producer or a retailer who understands what resonates with consumers and is open to proof of concept projects, ideally using their own surplus bread. We see that functional sodas are getting well-deserved attention from health-conscious consumers who see food as medicine and care about reducing food waste. I'll share our B2B deck in the chat for those who would like to learn more. Now, beyond sodas, our core business at Rebread is being also a service provider. For example, in November, we're launching a B2B platform for producers who either have surplus bread or want to start using it as an ingredient. On this platform, we offer licenses for recipes we've developed over the past 3 years. And recipes that introduce upcycled consumer products in retail, bakeries, food producers, or the HoReCa sectors. For SME businesses, we start with 10 free licenses, including less waste bread, granola, or spreadable cream. Soon we will add 50 more licenses, including paid options for advanced recipes. I'll just drop a few preview screenshots in the chat. So to wrap up, we'd love to invite you to join Rebread. So let's grow healthy sodas together and use our upcycling licenses to turn unwanted bread into new value. Thank you.
Great, thanks a lot, Patricia. And I'd just like to emphasize to everyone else, if you hear anything interesting, or if you heard anything interesting, potential connections that you see with Rebread or with the upcoming new partners, feel free to leave a message in chat so that the new partner can follow up. Just make sure to mention your name and the name of your organization so they know right away who they are dealing with. Okay, thanks again, Patricia. Moving on.
Thank you.
Royal Smilde.
Yes, I'm Nien Koopmans. I'm R&D manager of Royal Smilde, and I'm the R&D manager of the business unit bakery. I'm joining Foodvalley together with Rosa. Rosa is my colleague from the business team of Smilde Foods, and we are a big private label partner for retail, food service industry, and also the artisanal markets. and we supply a broad range of products: margarine, spreads, salads, sauces, bakery snacks, and also bakery semi-finished products. We do that nationally, a big part, but also internationally. For example, a lot of margarines go to Africa. And why we joined this upcycle committee is that we know that if you link the whole supply chain, that you get the best results. We offer diverse products across many markets, and there is also a lot of chances to integrate upcycled ingredients, and that's why we are very enthusiastic about this initiative. And that's also what we bring to the table. So a broad range of products where there are many opportunities to incorporate the upcycled ingredients. We also possess market knowledge and strong industry contacts. And by combining this with upcycle ingredient expertise, we can make a positive impact. But that's also what we still miss is sustainable partnerships with upcycle ingredient suppliers, but also with market companies who serve the markets in retail, food service, industrial, artisanal partners. We should see collaborations to build small supply chains to test these upcycled ingredients in our products and to test it in the market. So that's what we're looking for.
Perfect. Thank you, Nienke. Upcycling solutions.
Hello. Okay, so
yeah.
Sorry, just the connection was oscillating a little bit. So
no problem. We can hear you. We can hear you well now.
Thank you very much. So we are Upcycling Solutions. We are from Brazil, so a bit far away from most of you. We are a project company. We help the food industry to turn what is currently waste into value by transforming what is currently food loss or waste into new ingredients, new products. So we are right now a consulting company, and we help the food industry because they're very good at producing what they currently produce, but not very good at giving a better destination to what they currently throw away. So our aim is to transform what was once waste into innovation. We want to connect science, the industry, and sustainability to build a circular future. And most importantly, not only circular, but also profitable. So we know that profitability is key for the industry to succeed. So as much as we support sustainability, and we do, we also understand that if it's not profitable for the industry, they're not going to move along with. So what we bring to the table is the R&D consulting. We also have an upcycling certification here in Brazil. We bring the market intelligence by connecting, the food industry with university, our technology partners, also private label producers, to accelerate the transition from this industry to a more efficient system and a truly circular food system. So it's a new way of doing business, at least here in Brazil. And what we are looking for, we are looking for partners. We want to create more global partnerships. So as much as our country is huge, we do believe that the world is way better than just being closed inside our own country. So we must look for partnerships where we can bring value to the waste we produce here, but also to bring value to other countries. So our new ingredients, for example, could be the raw material for other valuable products, not just here, but anywhere in the world. So we want to share experiences, good practice, and find more ways to transform food waste into high-value ingredients and strengthen this circular food ecosystem between Latin America and in Europe. So it's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Natasha. Next up, we have Lidl. Yvette, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Yes, my name is Yvette van Tveer and I work as a sustainability specialist at Lidl Nederland. Now, the core of our business, our mission is to make a healthy and sustainable lifestyle affordable and accessible for everyone. As a supermarket, we focus on providing fresh and responsible sourced products and continuously improving our environmental and social impact. As a supermarket, we strive to organize everything as efficiently as possible and also avoid every kind of waste we can. So that also means food waste. It means that we're constantly working on optimal purchasing strategies and always looking for innovative products and solutions that align with these principles. What we bring to the table, we understand what customers are looking for and how we can successfully introduce the products on the market. We do that every time, so this knowledge allows us to support innovative ideas and help them reach the right audience. We are looking for a partner that share our values and sustainable innovation that helps us make a positive impact also by reducing food waste or promoting a circular practice. So that's why we are here.
Yeah, really great to have you guys on board.
Yes.
So welcome in the community. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Next up is ProEon, Kevin.
Hi everyone. It's really nice to be part of the community. I'm Kevin Parekh. I'm the co-founder of ProEon. I started this company along with Ashish. The core of our business is we are a next generation plant protein ingredient developer and manufacturer. So we look to create plant proteins that are superior in terms of functionality, nutrition, and sensory profile, but are also very climate friendly and are from upcycled sources. We have in fact very successfully created, I don't know if you're able to see this, but 80% protein from the waste of peanut oil industry. And the protein that we are able to make is very clean in terms of taste, very highly digestible, absolutely safe for human use because we are able to take care of the aflatoxin. And at the same time, it's very, very affordable. And in fact, it has become, it has gained a lot of good traction in India, where it has gone into few of the best selling protein bar products in India. It can also go into applications like low fat, high protein peanut butter spreads, into high protein breakfast cereals, these kind of things. We are also working on identifying more waste streams in the food industry from which we can create high value, more affordable ingredients, not only for markets like India and Africa, but also for Europe and North America. What we bring to the table is our ability to identify, develop, and scale up ingredients from waste streams and commercializing them successfully. And what we are looking for is companies who have expertise, because one thing that we are looking to upcycle is actually the carbohydrate stream that comes out from our protein process, and we are not experts in carbs. So any company that can help us with upcycling the starch, the fiber, essentially the carbohydrate section part of our raw material. Also very happy to connect with companies that are looking to incorporate sustainable, affordable, high quality upcycled proteins in their products. Also any investors that are actively looking to invest in companies like ours, very happy to do that. In fact, really nice to see Rosa here. Rosa has tried out our plant-based high functionality egg replacers in few of our products. So nice to see you, Rosa, and nice to be a part of this community.
Yeah, good to have you guys on board, and really great to hear that there's already some connections in place. Very nice. Okay, last but not least, Nice Biotech. Fengming, please.
Okay, I'm the last. Hello, everyone. My name is Anfeng Min from Nice Biotech in Taiwan. And I have another colleague, Michael Chen, but I don't see him online. I'm pleased to introduce our company and what we do. Nice Biotech is a subsidiary company of Nice Group in Taiwan. Nice Group is a diversified enterprise with operations spanning beverage manufacturing, personal care production, and other consumer goods. Within the group, our oat milk products hold nearly half of the market share in Taiwan. This success, however, also generates a large quantity of byproducts, particularly oat pulp, which often goes unused. So one of the mission at Nice Biotech is to address this challenge. Oat pulp is nutrient rich. There are many international studies and cases supporting its reuse. By leveraging the group's internal connection and resources, we aim to transform waste into value and starting from oat pulp. So we upcycle this material into multifunctional ingredient for skincare and pet treats. Oats are well known for their soothing property on skin. And through re-extraction, we have achieved similar performance from the oat pulp. And we have registered this extract as a cosmetic ingredient and are currently developing personal care products within the group. So, and additionally, we have collaborated with the barbecue restaurant enterprise that produce beef trimmings and beef tongue skin as byproducts. By combining byproducts from both sides, we have developed pet treats. So I think these experiences are what we can bring on the table. And Nice Biotech has direct access to upstream resources from our group supply chain, including beverage manufacturing facility that generates thousands of tons of byproducts each year. This allows us to experiment with various industrial byproducts and build a stable platform that can be extended to handle more types of waste, such as those from tea, soy milk, and juice production. So our vision is to identify and implement upcycling solutions that create new value chains from existing product side streams. So what we are looking for, we are definitely seeking partnership. We aim to diversify and enhance the value of our byproduct ingredients through refining, fermentation, and co-development. So we are especially interested in partners who share our vision, those with expertise in food grade processing, upcycle formulation, or novel fermentation technologies. So I hope this is clear. Thank you for your attention.
Yeah, thanks a lot for your pitch, and thank you to all of our new partners. Again, to everyone. If you heard anything relevant, of course, warmly invited to reach out. And of course, we here at Foodvalley can also help you in making the connection. Okay, before we move to the break, a short announcement for the people that don't know yet. On December 11, we are hosting the biggest annual partner event of the year. Last year, during the partner event, we had over 250 partners of our network on site. And as community partners, all of you have a free entry ticket. So if you haven't registered already, make sure to do so through the QR code. Jorien will also share the link in the chat. There we go. And when you're signing up, you get to select a specific community meeting that you would like to attend during the event. The Upcycling community meeting, we really want to focus it on creating an overview of all partners' ambitions in terms of upcycling and challenges that they face. So the way we set it up is really about matchmaking with other partners that share similar challenges as you, or have possible solutions or ideas to face these challenges together. Make sure to join the upcycling community meeting as well, and I really hope to meet as many of you as possible there live. Okay, so far for the new partners. Let's take 5 minutes to grab a cup of tea or coffee, and after the break, we'll be back to start with the acceleration session on data exchange. Thanks, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good to see you,
Hello.
Christian. Hi.
Hello.
Hi,
We
Caroline.
have,
Hi, Caroline.
hi, good to see you all. Welcome back for all community partners that were already part of the Meet the New Partner, the first half hour of this meeting. We still are in the middle of a little break. So within 4 minutes, we will start. So many people have their camera off for a few minutes of a break. So we will start at 3:35.
Janneke nunca te respondeu, né?
Hi, everyone. Welcome back in our meeting. Good to see you all. We have a little 3 minutes before we start with our acceleration session about data and data exchange. Hi, Marta. Good to see you as well. And I think Martijntje is there as well. We have many people in our meeting right now. Your questions. Looks like most of all our participants of the first part of this meeting, the Meet the New Partners, are returning from the break. Welcome, everybody. This is an acceleration session of the Upcycling community, focusing on the topic data and data exchange. Good to know that this meeting is recorded also for all new participants joining this meeting. We do this to later on also share the recordings, and also we will also share the presentations via the knowledge base of the community area at Foodvalley platform. We have a nice program which I will present to you right now. There we go. So first of all, a warm welcome to also our speakers in this call. Martijntje Vollebrecht from Wageningen Bio-Based Research, Marta Rodriguez, also from Food Bio-Based Research, the Wageningen University, and Christian van Maren, Access Material Exchange. We have a nice program prepared as part of the SciDate project. SciDate is one of the public-private partnership projects where besides those three partners, also multiple consortium partners are involved in. Martijntje Vollebrecht will explain more about this as the first part of this meeting. I get a notification that my screen is not yet successfully shared. I hope it's correct now. There we go. Yes. So this is our meeting after Martijntje Vollebrecht from Wageningen University Food Bio-Based Research introducing the SciDate project. Christian van Maren, owner of Access Materials Exchange, will explain more about a data platform that is already in the market and that is also ready to demonstrate for the upcycling community to see how also food-related side streams can be valorized. Marta Rodriguez has been in contact with some of you of the community for interviews as part of this work package 3 module within the SciDate project, which is focusing on impact criteria of the data model that has been built in the SciDate project. More about that later on. And of course, an acceleration session aims always to disseminate knowledge and to inspire, but of course also to interact with each other and to see how barriers that you probably face individually with your company, within your team, are also part of our collective barriers within this community. And data exchange has been identified already for 2 or 3 years ago as one of the topics that is of high interest of our community. So we're looking forward to interact with all of you during this session via a brainstorm, which enables us as well to offer you more insights and also connections after this meeting and in the program of the upcycling community for next year, of course. And we will end about 5 o'clock with this meeting. So it's a 1.5 hour meeting with various forms of interaction and presentations. This is also the moment that I would like to welcome you, Martijntje, as the first speaker of this meeting. Would it be possible for you to take over sharing the screen?
Good afternoon. Hello, everybody. My name is Martijntje Vollebrecht. I'm not really sure how to do that. So if you could give me
I can also support you. Yeah, I have also the presentation here, so I can also move the slides for you if you prefer.
Yeah, I don't see an option to take over.
Okay, yeah, it's just sharing your screen. And I stop sharing then.
Right.
But if the presentation, I have it here. So if you prefer, I can share the screen and then I will support you with moving the slides. No problem at all. Yeah.
Because before I've started it up, I was not aware of this. So thanks. Thank you very much.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
As I said, my name is Martijntje Vollebrecht, and I'm working as a project leader and researcher in the Institute of Wageningen Food and Bio-Based Research. We are one of more applied research institutes that, and together with the departments from university, we are one organization. And we are also closely connected to Foodvalley. So our institute focuses on doing research for companies and governments in the post-harvest chain, from both towards food and bio-based applications. So we start with agro materials, being either plant-based or animal-based, coming from the primary production systems all the way to what you are eventually doing with that material, being either towards food applications or towards bio-based applications. So this afternoon we are talking about the Site 8 project, which is a public-private partnership in which multiple companies, as they are listed here, with the logos on the bottom of the slide, and our institute cooperate on pre-competitive research topics. In our case, we are addressing the topic of making use of AI in food innovation. Can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah, thank you very much. So this project is now about halfway of a 3-year running project, and we are focusing on a particular problem. So we are focusing on a problem that's right in the core of the upcycling community. So the underutilization of the food processing side streams is really a bottleneck in making the food systems more sustainable. So first of all, there's the problem of the waste itself with its economic and environmental issues, of course. So with our project, we hope to help companies to faster develop solutions that can reduce undesired low-valued use of these side streams. So in order to do that, we want to make use of an AI-driven decision support framework that is making use of structured data in the form of a knowledge graph that addresses lots of relevant components that you need to have data information on in order to take decisions on possible upcycling opportunities. So the tool that we are developing is aiming to faster, to open up, to scout faster the possibilities for this, and thereby also reducing the amount of time that individuals or companies are spending on figuring this out. And besides that, we also think it's a very nice application area in which we could showcase the added value of some of the AI possibilities that are now available to us. On the next slide, please. So we are halfway in the project. We have not fully developed our tool yet. We do already have a prototype that is also to some extent functional, but that's still only available within the project. So we have made this AI framework on this particular topic, and we want to feed it only with data and knowledge of good quality. So that is one of the aspects of data quality and data availability that we as research institute find very important. So to only have reliable data and also referenceable data, etc., so that any information that you take out of such a system can also be traced back to the sources and can really be supportive in this decision-making process. So for instance, we look for information on side stream composition, on possible functional components, on what kind of processing it has originated from, but also what kind of processing is necessary to turn it into, for instance, a functional ingredient or a stabilized raw material, etc. Of course, there are many different types of applications that you can think about. We would ideally like to keep it in high-valued applications, so such as maintaining it, for instance, for food, for human use, but you can also think about other applications such as biomaterials or cosmetics or animal feed or pet food, etc. So this aspect of data quality is very important, and not only to us, but also to our partners that we have in the project. Can you please go to the next slide? So what kind of AI are we then actually looking into? So we want to use NLP, different technologies there, to open up, to create automatic data, knowledge extraction of publications, scientific publications, reports, databases, and also potentially other sources. And we want to capture that in a structured way. So therefore, we are also developing a knowledge graph. And these two topics, so this knowledge extraction and the knowledge graph, are covered in two more technological work packages that we have in our project. However, once you have extracted this data, you also want to do something with it, right? You want to convert it to useful information that can help you in this decision-making process. And side stream valorization actually has many dimensions that you have to think about, that you are very much, I think, already aware of, given that it's also in the core of what you're interested in. And therefore, we are also looking into multi-decision criteria assessment to further support companies that want to develop this further. So you can, of course, think about what you want to do with that, what are components, etc. But we're also looking really in this value creation potential. And then you can think of many different kind of aspects or dimensions that you would want to know in order to support your decision. So for instance, you can think about food safety or any legislative issues, or you can think about environmental impacts, or we can think of many different other things. It's not a given how you can convert any kind of data that we can extract from, for instance, scientific papers towards this high over properties aspects. And that is also something that we have a dedicated work package on within our project, and that also is coming back in the next parts of this meeting of today. So in the system that Christian is already having running, and also in the results that my colleague Marta will show to you later. So how can we actually obtain this information? What kind of aspects do we need to consider there to take into account for companies that are really working on this topic? And then finally, from a more scientific and open access, etc. view, and we want to also be able to build this in a fair way. So having it findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable, and therefore also making use of the latest scientific knowledge. Can you go to the next slide, please? This is actually my final slide. This is a quote from our project, how do you call it in English? Penvoerder. Our project applicant, and she works in IFF, and they are very much interested in this topic for their own business, actually from different perspectives. So they are an ingredient producing company, so they are interested in possible valorization options for side streams that they might be creating by themselves. But they also have another perspective of finding useful raw material sources that could be side streams from which you can obtain useful components that they can use as an ingredient in different forms. So that is why they are also interested in this project. And they are also looking into this themselves. They are a very large company, so they are also active by themselves already. But getting insight into the costs and also in the potential sustainability benefits, that is something that's not so easy for the company for themselves to do. And that is also what they would very much like in the future, to make use of the Site A tool that we are developing. And with that, I would like to close my part of the meeting.
Thank you so much, Martijntje, for the interesting presentation. We even have time for 2 minutes of questions. We see also a question in the chat of Patricia. Nirada from Rebred. She asked, could non-participants test the Side tool in the nearest future?
Well, I would say not in the nearest future. We are now halfway in the project, and the project will at least run until Q2 of 2027. So we will have to wait at least until then that we can open up any kind of version of the tool. In this kind of projects, so these public-private partnerships, the partners that are participating, the companies have a first access to any of the results that we are generating. In the farther future, this could very much well be opened up also to other interesting parties. The specifics of the tool might not be accessible for everybody, especially not if the companies are also putting their own data and their own knowledge into that tool. And that will, of course, have to be protected. But the components of the tool and also well, the way that we are developing that, etc., will be available to others as well. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Maybe a nice addition is that the reason why Foodvalley stepped into the consortium was, of course, also to play a role in knowledge dissemination in the direction of the community, but also to see whether we could validate or check the setup of this AI framework with the practice of partners. So that type of input can go into this development phase of that you're working on right now.
Yes, exactly. And for that, we might also, but we are not there yet. But I could imagine that we could at some point demonstrate like the early version of the tool, for instance, in an upcycling community meeting.
So that's already a bit of a forecast maybe for next year. Thank you, Martijntje. It was super interesting to get an introduction. And for all community partners in the meeting, please add questions still in the chat if you have remaining questions. Martijntje will be with us during this meeting. If it's okay for you, Marta, you can share your screen for your presentation. I'm also willing to do it for you, what you prefer.
For me, it's fine to present. I thought Christian was going first, but I can also
Apologies.
go...
My apologies.
No problem.
Yes, you're right. Christian. Apologies for that.
Let me share my screen. So we are indeed, I would say, a practical application of I guess, part of the scope here. And the reason why we joined is because the platform that I started, the EME, which heavily uses AI, has been focusing on a lot of industries right now. And we've always had a very keen interest in let's say, the bioeconomy as well. But I mean, as you all know, probably far better than I do, it's a hard industry to get into. And so for us, what we bring to the table, hopefully, is a lot of knowledge on these knowledge graphs, on the use of AI in decision-making processes. But what we hope to take away as well, and maybe also from the discussion later on, is very specific knowledge about this particular domain. But having said that, what I would like to share is a little bit of what we do, and a couple of examples, and hopefully some examples that are close to your industry. But we've been around now for 7 years. We had some high-level endorsement over the years. And what we see, especially if you look at the bioeconomy, is that there's a lot of value that's still currently left on the table. I think, as Caroline was also saying, and a lot of impact that we can still make, which I think is very necessary looking at the state of the world today. But what we do with our platform is that we turn waste, what is often a liability, into something that can become an opportunity, not just from a monetary point of view, but also, like I said, from an impact point of view, but also in a way as a stepping stone or a platform to perform more innovation. And key to that is this knowledge graph. I mean, I don't know if I have to explain it, but it's really that there's a lot of value in making it clear how different nodes in a particular data set are connected, so that you can
have other AI algorithms look for solutions that otherwise would not have been found, or at least we don't have the time or the money, I guess, to look into that. And I think, and so what we do is basically, with our platform, you can upload passports very easily using a picture here. You can see an example from construction, which, to be honest, is where we do most of our work. And then once you have all of that information, it becomes very easy to syndicate that data across different ways to reuse or recycle those materials. And I think you can't say anything anymore these days about AI without also saying something about agentification. So what we also have done is we built an AI agent layer on top of all the data that allows you to actually interact with that data in a certain way. But also, this is actually not out yet, but the AI agents also have a way to then actively engage with companies, organizations outside of our platform, where they can say, in this case, an example of a bag of gravel, where they would reach out to companies that might want to use that. And then those companies can ask questions. And again, the AI agent will go back into that data set and share any data that they can share if that's asked for. And then in doing so, removing a couple of friction points that would that then can lead to transactions much faster. But it starts with, well, this is a bit boring, but it starts with the impact, with having a good inventory of the stuff that you have that you want to throw away, the traceability of it, which I'll show later as well. But also, if you zoom in, this is like an egg waste example that we've done, a way to look at materials in a very different way. By like a couple of years ago, this pharmaceutical company came to us and they said, oh, we have a lot of egg waste because we use live eggs for these flu vaccines. We knew nothing about it, but through the process that we went through, and understanding what is in this particular egg waste fraction, we found that there's a lot of useful parts in it that we can then reuse. And in that particular use case, we found that for the vaccine production and harvesting, there was 2,000 tons a year of waste, a combination of biomass and the shells, which is a massive amount. And we found that by looking at this way, creating this knowledge graph of that particular very tiny data set allowed us to then look for solutions in building materials, in pharma, ceramic tiles, iron ore purification, paints, adhesives, and sealants. And actually, we managed to turn something that was a cost to them into something that was actually making them quite a bit of money. And just to show you how that would work, so this is our platform. And if I were then to add just an image of these eggs, for example, and I would click on AI Analyze, the AI disposition engine would do like a little risk assessment of what they're looking at. And to be honest, they're not really good at biomaterials because, like I said, they're hard to penetrate. I've tried the mustard husk, but it keeps calling it sawdust, which I guess is not inaccurate if you look at it, but not what we're looking for. And that's something that maybe I want to take out of this project. But it will tell you what it is. It will tell you the category. It will even make an estimate of the size, although of course that's not very meaningful in this particular use case. It will look at, if you look at this image, it will look at the condition of it. It will look at how much CO2 you would save if you start to either recycle or sell it otherwise. And it will also give a couple of technical details. And then once you fill that in, which I already did actually, you can then also very easily add digital product passport details to it, which of course these days in the EU are becoming really important for organizations to report on. And so as you can see, this is still very much empty, but then if you again use AI to look at the data that you do have, it will start to then basically collect some data and fill it in, even giving like a confidence level to say, look, based on what we have found, we have pre-filled this database. And then with a couple of mouse clicks based on the knowledge base that we already have, so this goes back again to that knowledge graph, it becomes a lot easier to get this data together and and actually also in a way become compliant with the latest EU frameworks. But then at the same time, once you have all that data, using very little effort, as you can see, I mean, this is just all new, you can then start finding matches for these items a lot easier. And like now, the AI agents that we have will actually start actively doing that for you as well. And maybe just to pause there and then open up for some questions.
Thank you, Christian. And I can imagine that there are questions for you. It's one of our participants in the meeting. Yes, Marcel, go ahead. Moment to unmute.
Sorry, I had to find a button. Thank you. Yeah, just a quick question. I was just browsing through your website while you were giving the presentation. You have already some going activities in construction, you said?
Yeah, I mean, I would say in the beginning we cast a pretty wide net to see what would stick best. And like I said in the beginning, we did do a couple of projects also in sort of more food related, but actually we realized that it was quite hard. And the thing that is easiest these days, I would say, is construction, also because in most countries it's the biggest waste fraction, and there's a lot of governments really pushing hard for it. But then there's also, especially now in the Netherlands, a really cool link to be made between these organic streams and construction. I think as Martijntje was also alluding to, I think, or Caroline. And also a lot of value to be had. And we're also now seeing in some other parts of the world that the term bioeconomy, which is something that I would say would label this under, is becoming important theme and also a driver for economic growth. For example, in the US, but also, for example, in the Middle East.
What I could imagine is that the biggest challenge you have when you look at organic side streams compared to construction products is of course the limited time frame that you have. Time is a very strict constraint. You were just given an example of eggshells. You don't want to pick them up after 1 week.
Yeah, what's kind of funny there is that in the beginning we did do a pilot with Schiphol around orange peels and coffee waste, which of course I guess if you're familiar in this domain is very, an example that's used a lot. And there what we found is that if you don't store the orange peels properly, it will lose a lot of pectin, and the pectin is driving the value of that particular waste fraction. And we even convinced, I don't think it was Schiphol, but I think it was Sodexo, to cool the orange peels before they were being picked up to actually uphold to maintain the pectin level in those, which I thought was a pretty wild thing to do, to cool waste, but it sort of worked. So so there is a time factor indeed. In construction, by the way, there is also a time factor. Stuff needs to be picked up at a certain point because otherwise they can't continue with construction or demolition. So I think there's always a time factor, but it has different reasons.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, I guess we can continue to Marta.
Okay. Yeah, Petra Vossenberg
sorry.
from
I have a
Recovery
question, if you
raises
don't
her
mind.
hands.
Yeah. So I see that so you look into the composition of these side streams, and then you have different categories that come out, and then you also test these different areas then, or how does it then work further? And then you iterate, or?
The testing, it kind of depends. So in a lot of cases, what we try to do is basically plug these materials into existing value chains. And that's also like the trick of using the passportization or using the knowledge graph, where you then have endpoints in the database that can become inputs in an existing value chain, which then allows you to, if you can sort the waste where you are and then meet the input requirements of the buyer, you're there. They still do testing, of course, but it's the same amount of testing that they would do on any type of product that they would buy. There are some, of course, some more specific use cases that are a little bit more innovative and new, where there's more testing involved. And that then typically means that they do like a lab test, like 50 kgs of the materials. Then they do like an operational test, typically like a truckload. So we're talking about 8 tons maybe. And then they would feel ready to take the materials in bulk. And then it's more like spot testing. Then next to that, there's also a layer of insurance to make sure that any risk associated with these transactions is covered.
And this focuses mainly on the construction, I assume, and that you meet already very specific requirements that are already there. So you really replace certain materials.
Well, we've done construction, plastics, textiles, also some food streams, of course. But in the end, what we now see is that construction is by volume the biggest stream.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for the question. Yes, Marilia Fukari from
Biorefineries. Yeah, Biorefinery Solutions. Thanks a lot for the presentation. It was very interesting. I was wondering, so how can one participate in this value chain? Because we are also upcycling food ingredients, primarily focused on vegetables. And then we're also at the moment where we're planning a flagship plant where we'll have a lot of capacity, and then we will also have the possibility to process different streams. So how could we be part of your
I mean, it could be a nice,
of your journey?
Could be a nice pilot for this program as well, of course. But yeah, but for us it's pretty easy. Just buyer, you just indicate to us what you're looking for and what your requirements are. Anytime that material comes up, we will notify you if we need to actively look for it. I think the AI agents can do that as well these days. So it's pretty low. We try to keep it as low threshold as possible. But again, maybe it's something nice for Side A to look into with more detail as well.
Okay, clear. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your interest. If you would like to know more about the Side A project, yeah, please feel free to ask Caroline about making the connection, and then we can further talk about that. Thanks.
Perfect, thank you. Marcel de Geus from Foodvalley, the second question.
Yeah, sorry, one more additional question. In line with Marilia's question, but I was just curious how you try to achieve or to reach a critical mass, because of course you need a certain supply and demand to get traction on your platform.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I guess we start off being like a two-sided marketplace, which then has the typical chicken egg problem. I guess funny seeing the example that I just shared. I think, you know, like and very much in line also with this presentation, AI has really been the technology to unlock that, because now we use AI in different ways. So one is to help with the automation of building the taxonomies of the different materials, like that's the knowledge graph basically. The next step is then more like an input-output model, which is a fairly easy application of AI. And then the third one is the agentification, which is an awful word, but that's just how they call it these days. And through those three elements, the transaction costs become very low. Also, the effort on our part becomes very minimal. And then once you have that, you no longer need to have very large groups of buyers and sellers to create liquidity on the platform. It can actually search for, you become basically user base.
Thank you.
Would it be interesting to also check within your tool what the most promising side streams are, and to use the AI generator to analyze that?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if it can do that already, actually. Let me just ask. But then you would need quite a large data set, I think, for the AI agent to be able to come up with any credible answer.
So maybe also for our community, a nice topic for further conversation later on to see if we could make that more specific, maybe in subcategories of side streams, or we're now working also on an initiative focusing on specific applications.
But I asked the question, what are the most promising side streams? And it comes back to includes residual municipal waste, category 1, international catering waste, paper, food waste, plastics, and construction materials. But I guess I didn't really specify what the reasons were for when is it most promising. Anyway, that's what the AI agent comes back with.
Yeah, thank you. And it is really interesting, I think, to within our community see how the data and the needs for data analysis can be also put in those analysis that you run. Thank you, Christian, for your presentation. And indeed, as Martijntje already said, please contact me in case you would like to know more about SciDate project or the demonstration of Christian van Maren. Thank you. We now go to the presentation of Marta.
Yeah, Caroline, I can share my screen. Yeah. And before jumping into the presentation, I just want to mention that I work in work package 3 in the SciDate project, and in this work package we're working with case studies from the partners involved, and also developing helping to develop this multi-criteria and then have rank a bit the different scenarios that pop up from the AI, you know. And before doing that, we wanted to have also reality check with how companies source the materials, and also what criteria are most dominant. So, and for that we've done these interviews, and I'm going to show you now some insights that came up. The goal was to summarize these cross-company perspectives. So we also interviewed different companies across the food, feed, and biotech sectors, and also in different parts of the value chain. And some of them focus on processing, also others on valorizing, and others also on ingredient innovation. And yes, and we did these interviews across different dimensions. So the focus on and the valorization approach, also data and tools, how do they approach that, also which decision criteria do they take, and also at which moments in time, what kind of collaborations do they currently have regarding this type of valorizations, what are the challenges, and also what is the future outlook, how do they foresee it. And I must say that all these interviews were recorded in agreement with the participants. Then I anonymized them, and also I structured all the results with also using AI. Yes. And the next slide. Yes. So what we observe is like when it comes to data, we see very different levels of sophistication. No? There are small companies that mainly depend on supplier data and also on internal efficiency metrics, while others rely on lab tests, scientific databases, detailed specification. But the main challenge is that the data is fragmented, and even more for large companies where there is also different departments that rely with different type of data. And also, the larger companies rely on golden standard specifications related to safety for normal reasons, also traceability and then sustainability. And what we see is that there is a gap, no, and limited integration and interoperability between the data sources. So we have a tons of spec. This was one of a quote. We have a tons of specs, but little connection between the different criteria. So regarding the decision-making criteria, we've seen that there is
share priorities across companies. So feasibility and also process compatibility is kind of a must. Also the cost effectivity, and for companies, taste and functionality is also, especially for ingredient companies, is one of the major criteria to start from. Then you have regulatory and allergen compliance, which for some companies is also non-negotiable. And then a less common, well, sometimes forgotten, but also emerging criteria as to differentiate also the companies is sustainability. So this is kind of a bit the decision logic that is maintained within the different companies. Regarding the collaboration patterns, there are different types of partnerships. Yes, some are more operational, so it's mainly trusted suppliers and processors, and this is already somehow arranged. And there is also innovations, especially for startups. Into kind of searching for new alternatives and innovation driven by R&D. And yeah, so this internal collaboration is something that is also growing. And yeah, so it's something that also it's a trend, no, that we need to kind of shift and also strengthen these collaborations for shifting from reactive supplier relations that are already set to more proactive. Yes, there's several recurrent challenges that came up. Data gaps and inconsistencies are widespread. Then the supply reliability and seasonal variability make scaling also difficult. Regulatory compliance and certification also can be complex, especially for organic or small suppliers and players. Also, cost pressure remains high, and then consumer perception of side streams as waste still has a limit adoption. So this consumer perception also might be a barrier in some cases. And yes, the shared vision across these interviews, so something that came up in most of them, is that there is a strong interest in these digital valorization platforms, and for a better and a demand for better integration, and also having ideally a matchmaking in the end, matchmaking tools. And then there's also an optimism for biotech applications, enabling these high value applications. And there is a belief that maybe these digital tools and pre-assessments can also de-risk innovation. So and also limit maybe the amount of experimental work or development time, no, and to expand supplier discovery, but also new different applications. Yes. So overall takeaways from the interview, from these interviews, is that companies share common operational bottlenecks, despite differing in motivations, because, well, some, for instance, come from more the ingredient, and others come from more the supplier side. Yeah, and this data-driven matchmaking and traceable validation are highly valued. So I think this is also something we would need to do, not to have this kind of tools, but also validate them later on. Yeah, and there is a strong readiness to engage, and I think we see it also in this meeting. So that's really nice. And SciDay could bridge gaps between integrating, well, some of the data and also make this, as Martijn mentioned earlier, making more fair and bridging the gaps also to make the data more accessible. And yeah, and then, well, there's also other dimensions that can be included in this SciDay tool that we will include, and some of them might be maybe more challenging, like include different market insights. But this is also always depending on how much companies are willing to share. And this is also one of the aspects that was also mentioned today and in the chat, I think, and also something that can be addressed when wanted to have such a platform. Yeah, so well, I'm open to any questions or additions. Maybe I forget something. Because I think some of the partners might be here as well, some of the interviewed partners, but otherwise we can also discuss during the brainstorm.
Thank you so much, Marta.
I think oh, I'm going backwards. Yeah. So I don't know if you want to share or
maybe before, if you could maybe stop sharing the screen, then people can also see you. And then we can see whether there is a question. Yes, from Saka.
Yeah, I had one quick question. How many and what type of organizations were interviewed, or is that classified?
Yes, so we had about around 6 or 7, more or less. And yes, and what type of organization? So we had on both ends, no? We had from technology suppliers, ingredient suppliers, and also ingredient, and then processing, processing companies. So from different parts of the chain, of the supply chain.
And also representing different type of side streams. So since we are often raw materials as origin from their side stream, also that mix was considered in this research.
Yeah.
And we have indeed plenty of time to dive into those results together, to also enrich it. Please feel free, if somebody has a question, to also still raise your hand. That's okay. And if not, I will start sharing my screen for indeed an instruction on how we will work, because we are today in an online setting. And still we're going to be active and share and add things to the discussion, not via the chat, but via a digital tool, which is called Mural. Small introduction from our side. Yes. So we have 20 minutes for a brainstorming session. And we prepared 3 questions for you to interact about. If you use your phone, you can scan the QR, which is on screen right now, and then you go to Mural. Please, of course, take your time for that. So I will leave this slide on the screen for some time. And if you are there, you will get the question to enter as a visitor. You can log in, but you should choose the option to enter as a visitor. Jorien also shared the link in the chat of this meeting, so you can also click on that link. Thank you. And at the moment that you start entering your name as a visitor of this page, we would like to invite you to use your first name and next to organization. We can all see each other moving over the screen, hovering with our mouses. That's also really a nice side effect of it. So we will see who is already there. Then we go over to the Mural screen. Wow, yes, see already really a lot of nice icons and also a lot of familiar names. Welcome in this environment. With a lot of thanks to Marta explaining, of course, the outcomes of the discovery meetings, part of the SciDate project. We would like to dive into actually your world a bit more and to know and understand how you use data and data platforms, and also what your preferences are and your ambitions are to also collaborate on this within our community, and also in relation to the insights that we gained from the SciDate project. I think that many of you are there, but please let us know in the chat if you need any support. My colleague Jorien can probably then help you. For now, we will zoom into the first question, which is on screen. And the first question that we wanted to share with you is actually to rate how you would, or to ask you to rate yourself, your organization, at a scale from 1 to 5, in terms of how you use data tools and how much you are engaged within data platforms. So are you already using those type of tools? And how much do you participate in data exchange activities within the value chain, or maybe with your specific trusted partners? And you can do that. I see that many of you already by intuition do the right thing. You can grab a star and you just move it, drag it to the right place on the scale. Any answer is okay, of course. It's really nice to see also differences, and we have the 2 minutes to think, so take your time. It would be nice later on to also discuss a bit. Yes, thank you all. We see a nice variation on screen. And it would be nice to hear some of your reflections. I will stop sharing my screen so that we can also see each other. It would be nice to maybe hear some experiences of those of you who said, yes, I'm already very much using data platforms and tools to gain insights on my value chain or my specific side streams. Is there somebody who would like to elaborate a bit more on that? Just curious to hear your experiences in that sense. Also okay if you say, no, it's for me not yet something that we use. So also organizations that are in the phase of getting familiar with data and data platforms are exploring it. Would be very interesting to hear your thoughts on this.
I can share a bit of our experience at Rebred. I've put the star near 2 or 3, somewhere there, because we had a joint project with this digital platform called Cirque. I can put it in the chat. This is something similar with EME that Christian shared with us. They mostly have this construction waste and side streams on their platform. And we try to start with them, food side streams, especially bread side streams, that we were interested in. It is a bit difficult because of the time frames. Bread, just like eggs, is a really short-term product. So the project is really in an initial phase. So I guess the main bottleneck for us is the perishable of some of the food products. This is something, and this is something that gives us the main challenge with using these kind of platforms. And we didn't find any other platform that would deal with that kind of food waste and side streams. But we would really like to join some projects, because this is something that we wanted to do, the whole platform like a marketplace on our own. We didn't have the time or resources, so this is something that would really help us on one side gain the bread surpluses from producers, and on the other side look for the end users of those streams, like just processors and food producers to use the side streams as ingredients.
Really interesting, and thank you for sharing, Patricia. And do you already collaborate with your value chain partners on this? Do you selectively look for the data or information about the compositions of the streams that you work with, or how does that work for you?
Yes, of course, but mainly, on emails, on other, simple tools that we have right now. So yeah, not very professional and specific digital tools that could be valuable for us.
Super interesting, thank you. I see that Sebastian Hetterscheid from Crumbs is also adding things in the chat. Sebastian, would you like to share it yourself?
Yeah, yeah, we are using data, or try to use, or are in the starting point of using data to predict production better. So, and it's very small scale, so more or less on an outlet level, not on a very abstract and high over level. So data, and this is real for small SMEs that we are talking about. But this helps to think broader about this kind of subjects. So the difficult thing, I think, is you can predict it and you can find opportunities, but then you have to organize it, and then you have to react on the data, and then you have to come up with new products, etc. So the opportunity, predict the opportunity is nice, and collect the data and have an outcome, but how your organization reacts on this kind of new information, that's, I think, also something that is taken into account, because that makes it difficult.
Yes, so that's extra layer of analysis that you need. So the exploring opportunities phase for the side streams is one, but then what do you after that within your own company?
yeah, you have to have an organization that has the possibility to react swift and very on changes in the market or changes in the environment. And that's the difficulty with an organization that is driven to reduce costs. So there's no room to develop new things. And there are no room. You have to really have a company with a very good vision and with a good return on investment to have the money to invest on this. And if that's not available, and that's for a lot of food companies the case, it is very difficult to react on this kind of new information.
Yeah, so that's valuable to consider if you are going to work with it. Then realize that it's of use for your business case development work. But your experience is indeed that start with this, invest time in it at the moment that you know that you can also do something with it.
Yeah, but take the organization with you or with this, and ask them. I got some new opportunities. Is it possible for you to use them and to react on it?
Thank you for sharing your perspective on this. I was wondering whether there are more people. I'm scrolling through the list of participants. Or maybe if you want to respond to the points brought in by Patricia or Sebastian. If not, we will move to the next question. We do a similar type of exercise together. Now we look into the question of, and then I zoom in and zoom out to the right question. Yes, so the next question is, how can we make insights and developments in AI and data analysis and data exchange more accessible to a broader range of companies, especially considering the challenges like data fragmentation and inconsistency? And below, there is a post-it. Yeah, I realize indeed that I combined question 1 and 2 in the previous round. So if you could use the post-its, the red ones, under this framework, you can drag and drop a post-it in this square, and then you can add your comments. So you have an open question actually, where you can add your thoughts. Take some time, of course. It's also good if you have 2, 3, do not feel limited in terms of numbers. You can also copy the post-its, copy paste, and make a new one. Yes, thank you. You can still add things, but it might be nice to already dive into some first shared post-its. One of the post-its is saying embed expert knowledge into AI-based tooling. Would one of you maybe explain what this suggestion implies?
Yeah, I added that one actually. I think AI developments are also, of course, very nice and potentially opening up lots of possibilities. However, hallucinations are not uncommon in AI tools, and also if you do some fact or checking on any kind of output that you do get from certain AI tools, then you find, then if you are an expert, you find lots of, well, inconsistencies of sometimes even things that are not true. So I think, well, there's lots of knowledge that is not yet captured or digitalized. That's not really the correct term, but what I mean is that there are lots of expert knowledge out there, and tools also have the capabilities nowadays of incorporation of this expert knowledge. And I think it's very valuable if we actually move towards some hybrid tools, so that are combining the efficiency and the potential, especially of course in finding information in very large data sets of AI with expert knowledge, more deterministic knowledge.
Super valuable point. So quality control and also the dynamic tools that are already prepared for including the expert role is something to take into consideration and also be aware of. Interesting point also raised by one of you, or a question, I think also, is there a database that is accessible by the community? So curious to hear a bit more about that, to know how we could support you there. Somebody who recognizes his or her own card and would like to say something about this, or another card. I see you're hoovering over, put in the euros in these tools. So business case building is easy. Is it okay for you to explain a bit more how Royal Smilde is working with data?
Not so much on data tools or platforms, but I like this remark, because that's really the case. So the euros are very, very important, I think. So if you can see that it will gain a lot of or save a lot of money, then it's easier to calculate with, or you can easily compare what it means for your company. So that's I think that's a good one.
Yeah, definitely. So also in terms of making more use of those type of tools, actually it also relates to the point that you raised, Sebastian. Consider what you want to achieve of it also in terms of economics for your company. Be prepared on that you're going to use the insights. Thank you all, and maybe nice to also say that at this moment we do not have the time to discuss all post-its, but we will create a nice insights article out of this meeting and also out of the interaction and all that you shared with us. So we're happy to share that later on with all of you and also the partners of the upcycling community that are not present now. Feel free to add, but we also move now to the next question, and that is actually specifically about the SciDate project. Are there any specific developments that would be of interest for you regarding the SciDate project to follow or to get engaged in? And of course, with all the opportunities, but also conditions that are there from the public-private partnership construction. But an open question to you. We're curious to hear what your ambitions or needs are in that sense. And here you can use the green post-its, which are here. Testing opportunities for startups is a nice one, already mentioned by Martijntje, that maybe there are some options to later on demonstrate some first versions. Insights in the side streams of ingredient companies. Yes. Might be a topic that we also once can further debate in our community, knowing that there are, of course, clear conditions regarding data and confidentiality in the SciDate project. But we are with multiple ingredient producers in the community. So it might be of interest to also discuss this topic specifically for this actor group to see how we could further dive into the sources side of upcycled ingredients. AI assistance in optimal valorization, repurposing of side streams. Maybe also a nice one to explain. Somebody who would like to...
Yeah, that was my comment. So with that side, if you would be able to have a sort of an open knowledge platform where you can really get the knowledge or the best experience on where side streams can have the optimal valorization, whether that's ecological or economical. You would get a sort of you could build a democratic platform whereby the best user case would be the one that should repurpose certain side streams.
So that's actually a development thought. It might also be, I'm looking at you, Martijntje, interesting to check that with one of the consortium partners, Amsterdam Data Collective, right? They are, I think, also working on those type of constructions to work on safe exchange of data within certain digital closed
Yes, exactly.
areas.
That also relates to the question that was put forward in the chat. So in such a tool, you could actually have a piece of software involved that is actually handling whether or not the data is accessible by all users or only by certain users. So in that way, you can also protect company-owned data, for instance, that they do want to have available when querying the SciDate tool, but they don't want to make available to others. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Maybe nice to mention that we last year had also an acceleration session around this topic of data and data exchange. And there was also a contribution of Amsterdam Data Collective on this. So there will be a nice presentation on this to read and to look into. But it's also a topic that we note as interesting for a community to for a further follow-up. For the sake of time, thank you all for sharing and being so open and explain your thoughts. We really very much appreciate your engagement and the interaction in this online environment. It's always really valuable to add to each other's experiences, and many thanks for that. We will, of course, have the opportunity really soon, the 11th of December, when there is a partner event of Foodvalley with the mentioned breakout on for the upcycling community to further interact on a wider range of topics. We as a team are preparing a nice program for all of you, for the upcycling community to actively engage in, and of course also to meet a lot of other partners that are also present during that afternoon, and to already make your matches within the physical atmosphere of people. Having said that, I also would like to thank all our speakers for sharing all your insights, and also the demo, of course, of Christian, really valuable. We will make a nice report, a nice insights article out of this session, which we will share via Foodleap, and also will publish online. So please follow that, and we were happy to further also answer your questions regarding this topic. Do not hesitate to reach out to us, of course, afterwards, or if you would like to be connected to Martijntje, Marta, of Christian, or you have other questions in relation to the project, welcome to share those with us. And then for now, we would like to say goodbye and hope to see you the 11th of December. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thanks.
much, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.